It is visible, sir.
So, good afternoon, everyone. Uh, I know it's very exhaustive feelings for you because this is the last session of the data science and honor course. So today, as I already mentioned, I'm going to conduct the last unit. The first two topics, that is the use of data modeling and data pre-processing. These two topics, they will be conducted by the Professor Jaya Madam, Jaya Suryavanshi Madam. I'm going to cover the other two topics probably in today's and tomorrow's session. So today we are going to see the principal component analysis, right? So before that, we need to understand what is the principal component analysis. So principal component analysis, it is one of the feature selection method. We know that in our data set we extract the number of features, and then later on we came to know that sometimes it may happen that some features are useful, some features are not useful. So how do we decide that which features are best suitable to build the machine learning model or the data science model, you can say, and which features we should eliminate? So that's what this algorithm tells us. So in the first part of principal component analysis algorithm, which is one of the feature selection algorithm, we're going to see the projection, what is mean, variance, and covariance. Uh, this is actually, is it visible? Screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
It's visible. Okay. Just give me a moment. Actually, my no PDF gets hang sometimes. I cannot open it. I cannot move. I cannot see anything. Just give me a moment. Well, so uh, PCA, that is principal component analysis, it is one of the most important dimensionality reduction technique. So, what is dimensionality reduction? Well, let's say you have a huge table of data so big that it's hard to process, and you would like to make it into a smaller one while still keeping it as much of the information as possible. So, dimensionality reduction technique, what they do is reduce the number of columns. So, today we are going to learn the principal component analysis in a few steps. First, we will see, we will learn the projections, then variance, then covariance, covariance matrix. We will learn what is the eigenvalues and eigenvectors, and finally, we are going to see in the second part of this session, we'll see the principal component analysis algorithm. So let's first start with simple problem. I cannot view this actually. What I'll do, I'll just open it with the tab and I will share the tab. That is better idea. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's begin with some simple problem. Let's say we have a bunch of friends standing like this, and we want to take a picture of them. So the question is, where do we take the picture from? Where do we take the picture, and from what angle we should take the picture? So it could be this. It could be something like you can take the picture from this angle. You can take the picture from this angle, or maybe from this angle. So what is the ideal? So you can see that this is the best angle to take this picture of bunch of friends who are standing in this position. So this projection is best suitable to take the picture. So when your data look like this, then then the picture of data could be, for example, projecting over from left, from right, or it could be from top or bottom. So the principal component analysis is something like this, where the objective or the aim is to project the data onto a minimum, we can say that by using a minimum eigenvectors, or by reducing the features. So let's say that we have this data, so we can let's project this data, send this data onto this line, which something look like this, okay? And we can also have some another way of projecting this data. So let us project this data onto this line. So after projecting the data to this line, it something look like this, okay? Now the question is, which of these two projections seems better? So let's compare them, put them side by side, and then we will have some, good inference from these two projections of this data set, or this set of points. So now, when we keep these two projections side by side, we can just infer that this projection line gives me the better projection, the better angle of representing this data set point. Why? Because this projection line, it gives me the clear spreadness, the variance, how the this set of points, this sample data is spreaded over the hyperplane. So this gives me a clear picture. So I can say that I will project all of this set of points on this projection line. Why? Because this projection line gives me the better projection, okay, better representation of this data set points. So naturally, what we are doing, we are reducing the representation of this set of sample points from two-dimensional to a one-dimensional hyperplane, right? So this is a single projection line. So that means we are projecting all these set of points which are earlier represented on a two-dimensional plane to a one-dimensional plane. So ultimately what we did is we have reduced the dimension of our data set from 2 to 1. Let's take a good example. I cannot have option here to take a big screen. It is better view into the full screen actually. I will again share it. Let's see what will happen. Now this time I will share the screen. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we were discussing this, right? So we have just made a conclusion that this line has a better projection for this set of points. Now let's try to discuss this in more detail by taking some suitable example. So let's say that we have been given a housing data, and this data set has 5 columns. Each column represents one feature. So we get the size of the room, the number of rooms in the house, the number of bathrooms in the house, which schools are around the house, and what is the criminal rate nearby, right? So these are the 5 features that we have received, or we got as a part of this data set. Now, maybe it is possible that all of these features, they may not give the significance, or they may not add any confidence in building the machine learning model. So my ultimate task is to reduce these 5 columns housing data to some 2 columns data. Now, the one way is that I can see the first 3 features, the size of the room, number of rooms, and number of bathrooms. All these are basically, correlated to some, information. What is that information? All these 3 features, it explains the size of the house, okay? If the size of the house is larger, that means the number of rooms will be also larger, the number of bathrooms will also be larger, and so on. So naturally, all the 3 features, the weight of these 3 features is actually same. They are explaining the same information, right? So can we transform these 3 features into one? Then the other is the last 2 feature is cool around and the criminal rate. So that means we want a better location. We want to indicate the location of the house, where that house is located, right? Whether it is located at the Gangapur Road or maybe at the College Road or somewhere else, right? So the location of the house is matter. So again, the last 2 feature, it gives us the significance about the location of the house. So in all, these 5 features, we can transform them into 2 features. What are these 2 features? So the first 3 feature, we can transform it into the 1 feature, that is size of the house, and the last 2 feature, that is 4th and 5th, we can transform it to the location of the house. So that means what we are doing, we are transforming a high dimensional input instance space to a lower dimensional input instance space. Still, we are not going to lose the information of the data set. Still, we have retained the original original essence of our data set, or the original information within the data set. What my data set says, my housing data set, it talks about the size of the house and the location of the house, and that is what we have done here. Now this time, by doing this, what we are going to do is, we have successfully reduced a large data set into a small data set, okay, by reducing a lower dimensional feature space to a, high dimensional feature space to a lower dimensional feature space. So let us plot this example into X and Y. So here X, it represents the number of rooms, and Y, it represents the size of the room, right? Size of the house, sorry. So now we are not interested to transform a 5-dimensional input instance space to a 2-dimensional input instance space, but in this example, what we are interested to transform a 2-dimensional input instance space to a 1-dimensional input instance space. So here X represents the number of rooms and Y represents the size of the house. So naturally, if the size of the house is big, then number of rooms will also be larger, right? If the size of the house is medium, then naturally it will have a average, or you can say that some common number of rooms, like 3 BHK and 4 BHK, something like that, right? So to transform this 2-dimensional data to a 1-dimensional data, we need a projection line that allows us to transform these instances to a single projection line. Now, what would be the position of my projection line? So let us say that I have drawn a line like this. Please remember, this is not a linear regression where we are not interested to find the best fit regression line. Here, we want to find the line that gives me the best projection of this 5 instances, this 5 different size of houses, right? So I have drawn this line, I got this projection. So let us transform these houses into this line, and that's how what we did is, we have transformed the 2-dimensional input instance space to a 1-dimensional input instance space. Now in this projection, I do not have the size of the house and the number of rooms in the house. I have the only one feature. Size is the only feature that we have successfully selected out of the first 3 columns, or out of the first 2 columns, right? So that means we have transformed 2 features to 1 feature. So remember, what we did is, actually what we have done is, we have transformed the 5 instances from 2-dimensional plane to 1-dimensional plane. right? So what is the transformation function? So linear transformation function, then eigenvector and eigenvalues, these are the topics to be discussed, which is probably we will discuss on tomorrow's lecture, right? If time permits, I will finish it in today's lecture as well. So the number of dimension, earlier it was 2, size of the room and the number of the rooms, and we have transformed it to the 1 dimension, that is size feature. So size is the only feature. So this projection line gives me the size feature. So there is one more concept that is very important from the PCA perspective, that is mean. We need to understand what is mean. Right. Now, these are the 3 different points, and these points have some weight, and I just want to balance this point. So what I will do is I will draw a line, and then I will try to find out the balance point for this line. So this balance point is nothing but the mean. Let us draw some, assume that there is some wall on the left hand side, and these points are at some distance from this wall. So this point is at the distance 1, this point is at distance 2, this point is at distance 6. Now, how would I find out the balance point? That is the mean. So mean is calculated as the distance of this point from this wall divided by the total number of distances. Okay. So the distance of this first point from the wall is 1, the second point is 2, and third point is 6. So divided by number of points, that is 3. So this is my balance point. So I got my balance point. So my balance point is this. So that actually balances the entire line or the points on this line. Well, so mean you got. So mean is basically the sum of all the points divided by the total number of points. Now, we'll see another example. Now, these are the 2 different sets of points. Now, I cannot use this concept mean to describe these points, right? Because the spreadness of these 2 sets of points, 2 different sets are different. You can see that in the first subset of these 3 points, the points are very close to each other, whereas in another set of points, the points are far away from each other. So fundamentally, I cannot use the mean as the, I cannot use the mean concept to describe these points, to describe the, spreadness of this point, right? Because what happens in this example, the mean, it exactly gives me that, that at which distance each point is there from the mean. So this point is at the distance 2 from the mean. This point is at the distance 3 from the mean. This point is at the distance 3 from the mean, right? So for this set of examples, we can use the mean to describe this point. But naturally, when we come to this 2 different sets of points, I cannot use the mean concept because that does not help me to describe this point. So what I will use? So here, our next concept arose, that is variance. So what is variance? So variance, it indicates the spreadness of points within the hyperplane or on the, your plane, okay, Cartesian coordinate plane, or you can also call it as a 2-dimensional plane. Simply, you can call it a hyperplane, right? So naturally, what I will do, I will use the variance. So variance means what? Variance is basically the spreadness of points from each other. So naturally, when we look at these 3 points, the spreadness of these 3 points is very less. So spreadness means variance. So variance of these 3 points, they are very less. There is a small variance between these 3 points. But if I consider this another set of points, these 3 points, their spreadness, their variance is very large. Why? Because they are far away from each other. So there is naturally their variance is very high. So that means if the points are very closer to each other, that means they have a small variance. If points are far away from each other, then that means they have a high variance, right? Now, if this is the case, naturally I will use, I can calculate the mean for these 3 points also. But if, I just mentioned that doesn't give me any meaningful information by just taking a mean for these 2 different sets of points. So naturally, I have to take a variance. So once I take a variance, when I consider the variance, the spreadness, this points has a low variance and this points has the high variance. Then you can find out the mean. So this is the mean of this point, this data set, this set of point, and this is the mean of this set of points. So now how do we calculate the mean of this set of points? So the variance for this set of points, it is calculated as, it is basically a mean. So 1 square, so the distance of this point from the mean and the distance of this point from the mean. So mean is naturally this point. So this point has the distance 1 and this point has the distance 1. Now why we took the square here? The reason is that we know that anything on the left side of 0, we will consider it as a minus, okay, negative entity, right? But remember, my friends, in a machine learning, in a physical phenomena, we do not have a negative instances, right? So to make it positive, we just take a square. So minus 1 square will become 1, plus this point is mean itself, so it will have the distance 0 from the mean because it is a mean itself. So 0 square plus this point is at the distance 1, positive 1, so 1 square. So 2 by 3, it gives me the variance of this set of points. Can you tell me what is the mean of this set of points? Yes, anybody? What is the mean of this set of points? Any answer? Unmute your mic and please answer, because I am in a presentation mode. Agam?
Sir, 16.6.
16.6.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So 5 square minus 5 square plus 5 square. So 25 plus 25. So 50 divided by 3. Yes, 16.5. That is right answer. So that would be the square of this. That would be the variance of this set of points. So variance is again a kind of mean. The formula that we have used to calculate the mean, the same formula is used here. Only the difference is that variance, it describes the spreadness of instances. That cannot be visualized using a mean. So now we can find the mean of this as well. So the distance of this point from the mean is 1. However, the distance of this point from the mean is 2. And the distance of this point from the mean is 3. So naturally, can you tell me what is the mean of this set of points? Yes. What is the mean of this set of points? Atharva, Sarda, can you unmute?
3.5.
Yes. 2 square, that is 4, plus 1 square, that is 1, plus 3 square, that is 9. So that is basically 14 divided by 5, right? So you can see that it comes on like 1.5 something. So now we'll see one more concept here. Okay. Now we have seen the variance of this. So far we have seen the variance. So when we send all these points to the x coordinate, we will call it as a x variance. When we send all these points to the y variance, we will call it as a y variance. Okay. So x variance means what? Transform all these points, or send all these points to the x, that is x variance, and send all these points to the y, that gives me the y variance. Okay. Well, now can you calculate the x variance and the y variance for these two different sets of points? So x variance means what? So this is the mean actually, okay, and these are the x coordinate values for these 2 points, and y coordinate value for these 2 points are 1, 1, which I will show you in the next slide. So x variance for these 3 points will be 2 square, this is mean, so 0 square plus 2 square, everything on the right, so there is no minus entity, no negative entity. So 4 plus 4, 8 divided by 3, that is x variance. Now y variance is basically 1 square plus 0 square. It is actually minus 1 square, so minus 1 square is actually 1. So 1 plus 1 divided by 3, that is 2 by 3. So x variance and y variance we have calculated for these 2 points, this set of points. Now x variance and y variance for this set of point is also 8 by 3 and 2 by 3. Then how can you describe these points? That is a question. If two different sets of points, if they have same x variance and same y variance, how do we differentiate these two different sets of points? इसको हम कैसे differentiate करेंगे? How do we describe the spreadness of this instances on the hyperplane? इसके पहले वाले हमने देखे in one example we have small variance in the hyperplane. In one example, for one set of points we have a high variance in the hyperplane for the given set of points. So small variance, high variance, that we have seen. But now these are the two different sets of points, but their x variance and y variance is same actually. So another concept comes in which is called as covariance, which actually helps us to describe this different sets of points. So naturally what we do is in covariance, we'll take the product of their coordinates. Okay, it is the sum of products of coordinates of all the points. So what is the product of coordinate for this point? So x coordinate for this point is -2 into y coordinate for this point is 1. What this indicate? This point is 2 units left on this origin and 1 unit up. So this point is 2 units right on the origin and one unit down, right? So this is x coordinate value, this is y coordinate value. So if I take a product of this coordinate for this value, for this point, so -2 into 1 will be -2, 2 into -1 will be -2, -2 into -1 will be +2, and 1 into 2 will be +2. So now this indicates us that this point, these 2 points, they have positive value, that means positive covariance, and these 2 points has the negative covariance. So can we say that if you have a set of points in this direction, then they will have a negative covariance, and if you have the set of points in this direction, then it will have a positive covariance, right? So though the two different set of points, they will have the same variance, x variance and y variance, but their covariance will be different, right? Here you can see that the covariance for this this set of points in this direction, we have calculated them as, so -2 into 1 will be -2, 0 into 0 will be 0, plus 2 into -1 will be -2. So -4 divided by 3, and this set of points in this direction will have positive covariance. So okay, so whenever you have a set of points in this direction, we will call them as a negative covariance points, and whenever you have set of points in this direction, we will call them as a points with the positive covariance. You can also call it as a correlation amongst the points. So this set of points has the negative correlation, and this set of points, they have the positive correlation. Now if this is the case, so we have defined this one and this one. Now what about this? If we have the points like this, how would we find their covariance? So simply we'll take a product of their coordinates. So product of this point is product of coordinate for this point is -2, for this is 0, for this is 2, this is 0, this is 0, this is 0, this is 2, this is 0, and this is 2. So that means -2 plus 2 plus 2 and -2. That means 0 divided by 9. So 0 divided by 9, that means what is the answer, Agam? What is the answer? 0 divided by 9?
0, sir.
0. So that means,
0, sir.
yes, whenever your set of points has a 0 covariance, that means their variance is very small actually, very small. Okay, so we can say that when you have the points like this, we can say that they have this kind of set of points, they have negative covariance. This kind of points, set of points have positive covariance. And whenever you have points like this on the hyperplane, the position of the points on the hyperplane is like this. The spreadness, I would say, the spreadness of the points like this, then we can say that the covariance is 0 for this set of points, right? So we have done with the covariance. Now it's time to see the principal component analysis, but time is up actually. So tomorrow I will take the linear transformation function, eigenvector, eigenvalues, and then PC. Hardly I'll need 15 minutes to finish this topic. If you people are ready to continue this session, then I will, otherwise we will stop. Looking at the time, if you feel exhausted, I will stop, otherwise I will continue. You tell me. One by one, you can unmute your mic and please tell me. Yes, Atharva, Agam.
Sir, it's on you actually, means we have no problem.
Only one student is saying. What about others? Okay, Omkar. Omkar.
Yes, sir.
Shall I continue? Okay, no problem. Atharva. Atharva, shall I continue?
Sir, okay. We will take tomorrow remaining topic.
Okay, no problem. Okay, no problem. I'll resume this lecture in the tomorrow's session, and we'll meet tomorrow. But you just suggest me tomorrow's time. Shall I take it early in the morning, 9 to 10?
Sir,
Sir,
actually,
there
we
is-
have Zensar training.
Your test will start at 11 o'clock. Don't worry.
Sir, Zensar.
Zensus training. Can you
Yeah.
spare in the morning for just half an hour? You can join the ESD training after half an hour at 9:30.
Yes, sir, no problem.
Okay, sir, no problem.
Because tomorrow I have scheduled your lab session, and because in the afternoon, after 2 o'clock, after your test, I'm going to take a lab session.
Okay, sir. At 9 o'clock it will do.
Okay, no problem. So I'll just share the link of tomorrow's session, and we'll meet on tomorrow morning. Thank you.
Yes, sir. So please share this PPT also.
Okay, no problem. What I'll do is all the PPTs that I have, I'll just upload it on. You will get it on my website. I'll just type the name of my website. I have already given to all of you. I'm just typing the names of my website. I'm not sure actually whether it is like this. Just give me a moment. I'll just immediately share a website name. You just go to this site. I'll upload the today's PPT as well on that site. Okay, and the earlier PPT as well. So you will find that naive-Bayes classifier and then association rule mining and linear regression under the unit 2, unit 4 and unit 5, right? And we have seen one more algorithm actually. In the beginning, we have seen K-means clustering. So K-means clustering, association rule mining, and these two topics you will get it in unit 4. Association rule mining, linear regression, you will get it in unit 2 or unit 3. You just go through it. TCA, I will upload it separately, don't worry. And that naive-Bayes classification, you will get it under unit number 5. So unit 3, unit 4 unit 5 and PCA will be, you will get it separately. Don't worry. So thank you so much for patiently listening me. So have a great day ahead. We will meet on tomorrow. Thank you. You can exit this meeting.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.